why don't you tell me a little bit about what the past 3 years have been like for you with your music career?
It's been I'll have to describe it. I know it sounds cliche, but like a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
It's been constant, because like I put in so much work and just over time just been constantly grinding. But it's been a battle. I found out a lot about myself over time. I've changed a lot and it affects, the music side too. So it's just like I've grown so much. It's been a crazy 3 years, but it's been good, and it's hopefully it keeps continuing.
I took some time to watch a bunch of YouTube videos that you've posted that get behind the scenes of the creation of beats. And I really enjoyed watching your mind at work and seeing how you build out your beats. What's changed in how you build beats, if it's changed at all, in the past 3 years?
I go into it now, I'm more confident, and I go into it with I don't box myself in. I'm just like, do what you want to do. It's your creation, so I'm always just trying new things now. And it's just like, I feel like I found my sound, so I just I got a certain sound that I feel like I'm kind of like mastering, it's kind of like a little different than what people do. So I just approach it. It's just with more confidence. Well, I just know I feel like I put in enough work to where I know whatever I'm about to create is going to be something good.
As far as finding your sound, do you find that this is something that continually evolves and changes as you have different influences around you, as you have different artists that you're working with, as you have different access to technology and different kinds of spaces?
Yeah, you definitely have to, as far as changing, because it would naturally change because the sound of music changes. So it's you kind of have to adapt. You'll have your sound, but you have to learn what's going on. You know what I'm saying? You can't just say, oh, well, this is my sound, I'm going to just stay. You feel me? You have to know what's going on in the world. You have to listen. As you travel, you'll be more influenced. As you, as you be around more people, being in sessions with different producers, I learned certain stuff. I learned different cadences. I learned different sounds. I learned how they do different stuff, and I incorporate it in what I do.
Do you ever record live instruments and incorporate those into your beats?
I do when I'm in LA. LA sessions, mainly that's when you're just creating from complete ground up with everything. So yeah, if I'm in LA sessions with writers and everything, we're coming from the ground up, starting bass and everything.
So why don't you describe for me one of those sessions where you were building from the ground up?
One of my favorite ones, I'd probably say it was a session with a guy named Composer. We made a reference track. It was kind of like a Spanish. It was different. It was something that they wouldn't expect from me, with what they use hear from me. But we started with the bass guitar, and we really was using recorded live instruments that we was making noises in the actual room and recording them. We opened up a beer can, use it in the beat, just creating just what you have around you.
What live instruments did you record?
We recorded a bass. We recorded, we put a piano on top of it. Then we started creating. We put a guitar. After we had the skeleton with just we started with the bass guitar, and then we added little sounds from around the room, and then we started adding piano, guitars on top of it. But everything was recorded and then we programmed drums in it, but everything was recorded live in the room.
It's nice to hear that you care about crafting something that's different, and I'm sure that that's gotten the attention of the artists that you're working with now is that you're doing something different. So I interviewed Wesley Schultz, who's the lead singer and guitarist for the Lumineers, on Monday. And I asked him if he had ever thought about doing cross-genre collaborations. And he said, I would do it if it evolved naturally. And then he said, you know what? An artist reached out to me recently to get permission to use some content from one of my songs. Let me look into it and see who it was. And then a few minutes later, he's like, it was Rod Wave.
That's crazy.
And I was like, oh yes, that's a big deal. So anyway, the song that the Lumineers have with that Rod Wave borrowed from is called Sleep on the Floor. And the song that Rod Wave created is called Never Find Us.
Yeah.
Talk to me about Never Find Us.
It came together. That one actually came together. That's all Rod credit. I gotta give him that, because it actually wasn't original sample. Like he just took the beat and he interpolated himself. Like, because I mean that's what he does. He was just like be inspired from different music, and then like you really like hear like his songs, like it's really a piece of a song that he's listened to that inspired him. So I mean, I guess that part of the song really inspired him, and it came out to that. But I mean, I gotta give credit to him. Like he's a genius when it comes to that.
Did you make that beat?
Yeah. Tell
me about making that beat.
We made it with Nash and G-Mac. With that one, we didn't do like from like live in the room or anything, but it was just sent from produced by Nash, then it was sent to me and D-Mac, and then we just made it. Like we just finished it off. But it wasn't like anything from the ground up. But I mean, I ain't gonna lie, that I wish I could say like the creative process on that one was just like super crazy, but it was just like, it was just one of those beats that we just worked on together, and it came out a banger. But I mean, I feel like more so Rod elevated it. Now I remember a conversation with the like when I heard Snippet, like that's when like really conversation started. I mean, because the beat, like when we make beats, it's kind of like, we work so much, so it's kind of like, all right, we made a banger, all right, let's make another one, you know what I'm saying? So, but I sent it to Rod, you know what I'm saying? I mean, because when we made it, it was like, yeah, this definitely sounds like Rod, you know what I'm saying? No question. So boom, when I sent it to him, it was just kind of like, I heard a snippet like probably a couple of days later. That's when we kind of started talking about it. We like, oh yeah, this is one of the ones, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, we was like, yeah, because he usually would send me songs, but he didn't send me that one, so I actually didn't get to hear the full song till the album dropped.
It's a beautiful song.
Yeah.
I've listened to it 25 times in the past couple days. The energy of the song actually is very similar to the energy of the Lumineers song that was a jumping off point for it. And there's some alignment in the lyrics as well.
I know exactly where he interpolated. Like he did the cadence on where the beat dropped out, and like he sung it kind of like him until like the hook came back in. But nah, that was just. I mean, he does that a lot though. Like he'll just hear songs and then he'll hear a beat and it's just like it makes sense to him. Like I don't understand how he tied them in together, but I mean he made it work crazy.
So what's next for you as far as you and Rod working together, or you and other artists? This is really about you, as far as what you want to explore with making beats.
As far as me and Rod, we just got off the phone the other day. We're actually working on another sample. It's something crazy. So I mean, we're back locked in. Like it's the same cycle with us. Like we album drop. I send them beats every day. It's like it don't stop. You know what I'm saying? Like on to the next album. So, but as far as like just in general, I'm really trying to really get like my different sound out there. I'm really trying to show people more of a like that I'm like I'm actually like versatile, not just boxed into a certain sound. So really I'm working with like different genres, different producers, different artists to try to just show people that I do have a different sound. So as far as like what's next, I'm working on that number one. That's trying to get that number one hit.
Who are some of the other artists, or you can just tell me some of the other genres that you're exploring?
I've been not doing a lot of, but I've been working more towards doing pop. I had a session yesterday with some people from camp, like the camp from like Earth Gang, like JID, like Cole and them, like in that like lane. Just been trying to just work with anybody that's just like can show me something that I already don't know. So I did a session with OG Parker and Land Strip Chip. Shout out to them. That was like one of those sessions that really inspired me because we created everything from scratch, and that ended up being the intro to his album that's about to drop. So just doing stuff like that is just showing people like that I can do more than just what people expect from me.
So my observation about good producers is that they have a solid intellect, they have a handle on technology, and they're also very creative. Would you say that describes you?
The technology part, I had to learn a lot. I mean, it's still a lot about technology I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much for the most part, yeah. But like technology part, sometimes I be messing up for real.
So, and what about rigorous self-discipline? Do you think that having a handle on self-discipline to be able to produce very consistently makes a difference? Or do you just ride the wave?
You gotta have discipline. You gotta be consistent because there's so many people out here that's working. There's so many producers every day. You know what I'm saying? There's so many producers every day that's coming up that want that spot, that want to be, you know what I'm saying, just notice. And they're making 1,000 beats. So it's like that being consistent is just like, and it's like being disciplined enough to say like, all right, instead of doing this, I'm going to make beats. Or instead of doing this, I'm going to go to the session. It's just like, it's real. It's the most important key, right?
I had read that you had said back when you were in your type beats making phase that you were dropping a new beat on YouTube every other day, and that made an impression on me that you have that discipline on lock.
I'm doing it still to this day.
Yeah.
I post every 2 days.
So if an artist hears one of those YouTube beats and they want to use it for their song, what do they need to do? How do they get rights?
If it's a signed artist, I mean, their label and their lawyer take care of it.
What if it's not?
An unsigned artist, say it again.
What if it's an independent artist?
They'll usually reach out to me. Usually, I mean, if I like the song, like, I'll usually work with them, like, yo, like, I know you don't have maybe the budget to pay, but I like the song, let's work something out. It's like, it's more so I like liking the music. You know what I'm saying? If I like the music, like, and I really believe in it, like, the money could take care of itself.